Hello guys, welcome to particular a particular video called "Should Hillary fans be worried again?" And I think they should. The Young Turks did a great news story, as they always do. There's this one Democratic senator from Missouri, or Mississippi, one of the places. But she has tough words about Bernie Sanders, but they're not really that. I mean, they're not really that valid. They're actually quite pathetic, the way she words herself. Well, how she words out. You know what I mean.
Bernie Sanders has, of course, been doing pretty well in the media, among the public in his run for the presidency, but now the opposition is starting to rise. Some of the defenders of Hillary Clinton are coming out on the cable news shows, and they're launching their attacks against Bernie. They themselves are perhaps feeling the burn. So in this video, you're going to see this is from late last week on Morning Joe with Senator Claire McCaskill, a Democrat. Bear that in mind because you're not going to be able to tell from the things that she says, but here is her view of Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders is doing quite well in the polls, and I guess we're wondering, we know you're ready for Hillary. Do you think there's any concern there?
No, I think the media is giving Bernie a pass right now. I very rarely read in any coverage of Bernie that he's a socialist. I think everybody wants to fight, and I think they are not really giving the same scrutiny to Bernie Sanders that they're giving to certainly Hillary Clinton and the other candidates. So she's going to win this, and as soon as I think they begin treating him like a serious candidate instead of, oh my gosh, it's so great, we've got a fight in the Democratic Party, I think it will become very clear. Any other candidate that had the numbers that Hillary Clinton had right now would be, talked about as absolutely untouchable, and all of a sudden, oh, Bernie, right. I think it's, I think Bernie is too liberal to gather enough votes in this country to become president, and I think Hillary Clinton is going to be a fantastic president.
Okay, before I continue with the clip, now, the only thing that she says that's true is that some people, Bernie Sanders, too liberal. That's the only thing that she says is true. Other than that, how she said that the media is giving Bernie Sanders a pass. No, that is not true whatsoever. Bernie Sanders is being chastised so much for being a presidential candidate. And you know what? This kind of brings me back to the 2008 presidential race when Obama came out of nowhere. Nobody knew who he was. He was a senator for only 2 years in Congress. And then he gained a lot of followers. He got a lot of donators. And he became president. And this is essentially what's going to happen with this race. Bernie Sanders comes out of the blue. He gets 10,000 people who voluntarily go to Iowa from all around this country who voluntarily go to Iowa to watch him speak. That's unprecedented. Hillary can't even do that. She can get 5,000 people to watch her speak. But Bernie Sanders gets 10,000. 5,000 more than Hillary Clinton. But the thing is how this Hillary Clinton goon says that, oh, Bernie Sanders, there's no stories about him being a socialist. Bullshit. Bullshit, lady. You know Sanders is a self-declared socialist. I'm a socialist Democrat. That's what being liberal is. Standing up for liberal values, and liberal values are also seen as socialist ideals. But the thing is, Hillary is feeling the burn, and Hillary's goons are feeling the burn, and as you'll hear them comment about, and they're going to play another clip of this Missouri senator.
Funny
because she doesn't really realize it, but what she's essentially saying is the establishment doesn't take you seriously.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Yeah.
Just because the establishment doesn't take you seriously doesn't mean the American people don't take you seriously.
Yeah.
And also, I love that. If you pay close attention, she basically says, well, you know, they're really tough on Hillary. They're not really tough on him at all. I feel like the media has been extremely tough on Bernie Sanders.
Well, I mean, certainly dismissive.
Dismissive, yeah. So, and that resonates with people who watch news shows.
Mm.
If hosts are dismissive of a politician, then that's going to somehow seep into society. People are going to think, well, this isn't a serious candidate.
Yeah.
I think that's more damaging than taking someone seriously and questioning their policy ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, speaking from our point of view, where we're discussing politics every day, there are a number of different ways the media can be critical of a candidate. If we identify a policy they're in support of that's bad for the country, we will talk about it. And when we find one that Bernie Sanders supports that's bad for the country, we will talk about it then. If we can point out some hypocrisy, we will, but he has been consistent for more than 4 decades in terms of his values and his politics. You know, if they're involved in a scandal, we will point it out. We'll point out those things as soon as they exist, but it's not our job to just make it up to keep things interesting. And also, so I love that she said, nobody says that he's a socialist, which, yes, everybody is saying that he's a socialist. I love that she,
Yeah.
Is she Ted Cruz attacking socialism? You are still a Democrat, okay?
She's an establishment Democrat who is supported.
I want to add on to the point Anna Kasparian speaking about establishment Democrats. Now, establishment Democrats are fiscally conservative but socially liberal. And that's the way Hillary Clinton is. That's the way most establishment Democrats are. And just to add on about establishment Democrats were for the Iraq War. They weren't against it, they were for it. It was the liberal Democrats who were against the Iraq War. Just saying.
The corporatist Hillary Clinton. It doesn't surprise me that her commentary came off the way that it did.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, he's too liberal for America. This is the Democratic Center. He's too liberal for America, but Hillary Clinton's going to be great because Hillary Clinton sure ain't too liberal for this country, which is true. That's the one true thing that she said there. We got some more Claire McCaskill here in this video, too.
What do you make of these massive crowds he's getting and the impact that could have on Hillary's message? And they do account for something, don't they? Well, Rand Paul's father got massive crowds, Ron Paul. He got the same size crowds. Pat Buchanan got massive crowds. It's not unusual for someone who has an extreme message to have a following, and massive is relative. I think Hillary had a massive crowd at her announcement. Certainly as large as any crowd that Bernie Sanders has had.
You know what, this is actually...
Okay, now, see, you could tell that she kind of like hesitated to continue with what she was saying. Now, like I said, Hillary Clinton at her house, to keep the number in mind because they're going to talk about, or they're going to play a clip of her mentioning it. But if you are a subscriber to my YouTube page, you know my video, which is just click on my channel and browse through my videos until you find the video called Feel the Burn. Now, in that video, I mentioned important statistics. Statistics that are essentially good in Bernie's case. Look, 70% of the millennial generation will vote or would vote for a socialist president. 47%, which is nearly half the country, are willing to vote for a socialist president. And 29% of registered Republicans are willing to vote for a socialist president. That's big, Bernie Sanders' case, and this is important for people who are against Bernie Sanders not to miss the information of. Because if you are going to talk against a candidate, make sure you have information that is important for that candidate so it could be destroyed. That's an essential part of being a commentator of politics. And the reason why I bring that up is because I don't want Hillary Clinton to be president. I don't. When before Bernie Sanders entered the race, I was all for Hillary. Hillary's going to get the majority of the women vote, maybe 25%. That's an estimate there. Maybe 25% of the minority vote, maybe about 50% of the millennial vote. But the point being is, Bernie Sanders is attracting more people than Hillary, and this is making Hillary Clinton supporters scared.
Actually, a good thing. Because if Hillary supporters are asleep at the wheel and they don't take a potential threat seriously, well, who knows? You could see a repeat of 2008.
You could. Yeah.
And that's a great thing.
Yeah. So she says she is very correct. Yeah. These massive is relative. Unfortunately for you, it is relative to the size of the crowd that Hillary Clinton is drawing in. Now, look, this video is from before Bernie's Wisconsin speech that brought in 13,000. So I'm not going to fault her for not knowing about that. But he brought in something like 13,000. Her announcement speech, which she was speaking of so favorably there, brought in 5,000 people, which is a perfectly respectable amount. It's almost as much as Bernie was bringing in Iowa the last time he was there. It's good. It's just not as good as Bernie Sanders is bringing in. And this is a woman who has had supporters for a number of decades, who people know everything there is to know about her, and she still can't draw crowds as big as Bernie Sanders. Despite the fact she came so close to being the nominee last time. Still can't bring it in.
Before they continue with the other clip or more of the commentary, I do want to say, though, the reason why it's also hard for Hillary to draw in the crowds that Bernie or any other Republican or Democrat candidate or Republican candidate drawing in is because people have their panties in a bunch and they can't forget the time that Monica Lewinsky blew Bill Clinton. They can't forget that. They can't get that out of their heads. They have to bring it against Hillary for standing by her husband during that scandal. And I feel that's one of the reasons why Hillary cannot bring in the sizable crowd that Bernie Sanders or Republican candidates can bring in. So I don't know. I'm just being fair with that point. Continuing.
It's all relative, though.
It's all relative. And then also she's comparing to Ron Paul. Like, you can only compare him to Republicans for some reason. So dismissive.
Oh, yeah, and that's the other thing. Hillary Clinton fans, if you don't agree with Hillary Clinton, you're automatically a Republican supporter. It's the stupidest cop-out of all time. And the reason why I say it's the stupidest cop-out of all time is because simply, if you think about it, number one, you can be a Democrat and like another Democratic candidate while disagreeing with the Democratic candidate that's America's favorite. You can be, I'm a registered Democrat, and I like Bernie Sanders. I'm going to vote for Bernie Sanders. I'm not voting for Hillary. Does that make me a Republican? No. And this is why Hillary fans are chastised on social media, because they think that if you don't agree with Hillary, you're automatically a Republican. And I think Democrats in general, the majority of Democrats, seem to find hard to make a distinction that there are Eisenhower Republicans and these Tea Party crazy Republicans. Now, the Eisenhower Republicans are the 29% of people who would vote for Bernie Sanders. They would vote for a reasonable person into office. It's simple as that, really.
I wonder how that's going to work out for. I think we have one more Carol Castro.
By being, frankly, a socialist.
Senator, you said Senator Sanders should get more scrutiny. Just name 3 specific positions he holds that that you think are too far left, too socialist to be electable?
I am not here to be critical of my colleague Bernie Sanders.
That male reporter is going to bring up. He asked a poor question that which I never heard on MSNBC before. He asked her, "What 3 things of Bernie Sanders do you think is too extreme?" And the one who's criticizing Bernie Sanders is like, "I did not come here to insult my colleague Bernie Sanders." Well, yeah, you kind of did. But let's see her get pounded by hard questions.
With all due respect, you already were. You said he was socialist and not electable.
Well, I do believe that.
So what are 3 examples of things that prove your point?
Well, I think he would like to see Medicare for all in this country, to have everybody have a government insurance policy. I don't think most Americans want government to have every insurance policy.
That's one. 2 more.
Okay.
I
Wow.
never knew you. This is like Halpern. What is this? Law school?
Oh,
You know what I find funny about that? Joe Scarborough is a conservative who works at MSNBC, and he's all for real news, but then he jerks like, wait, is this a real news station? Do we ask real questions? So he kind of jerked back to this cowardly stage where he didn't want to ask this Democrat person real questions. But anyway, her reasons for not liking Bernie Sanders, he wants universal health care. That's an extreme idea. Lady, if you are a Democrat, you know that Obamacare can help people so much. And even Obama knows that. And if there's universal health care, people in the United States get health care regardless of their financial status and regardless of their where they live, and regardless of what they do for a living, people get health care. They just need to sign up for it. That's how universal health care works. And yeah, that's such a socialist idea. People wanting health care. You sound like a Republican lady saying that, not all people want health care. Not all people deserve health care. That's the mentality that's coming out. Anyway, continuing.
God, I love that clip. I love how Scarborough's like, are you acting as if we're on a news program where we ask real questions? What the fuck?
He literally can't recognize journalism when he sees it.
He's like, what the fuck was he wearing?
Economics? Is this basket weaving? I don't know.
That was ridiculous.
Come on, Joe.
That was awesome, by the way.
I
That
loved
was
it.
a great question. I love that it was a tough question, and it wasn't a weak individual that he was asking the questions to. It was a politician who should be prepared to ask or answer hardball questions.
Yeah.
That was excellent.
Yeah. Oh, no, I loved it. I mean, I like that it still has to be kind of a joke. Like, oh, look at him being so tough on a politician. But she was incredibly flustered by it.
She was like, wait, you're asking me to give you information on policy ideas? I'm just going to smear him. He's a socialist.
Exactly.
Now, see, that's a classic cop-out of the Democrats. When Democrats are afraid to toot their own horn. This is why Republicans get votes at the midterm elections, at the presidential elections, at any type of election. Because Democrats are too afraid to toot their own horn and to chastise their opponents. And that's essentially what this Hillary Clinton supporter did. She completely chickened out and was criticizing Bernie Sanders, but then didn't go into his policies, why he wouldn't make a good president. And the simple fact is that Hillary Clinton fans are scared again. They are scared again. They know Hillary's going to lose again, but they're going to dilute themselves to a Hillary's going to win. That sounds like Priest of Death guy auditioning for a part as O'Hara and God would win. But the thing is, Hillary Clinton supporters are scared, and you're going to hear them say this towards the end of the video.
So the example that she did give was expanding Medicare for all, which, by the way, you know who else is a big fan of Medicare? The American people. I have a feeling that if you were to sell it to them, they would be very much in favor of that, and it would avoid some of the problems that the ACA still has, because it is still fundamentally a private system of health insurance, just with some subsidies from the federal government. We don't have time to show you more of the video, but she also said that he wants to expand entitlements.
Oh, yeah. I agree with him. Yeah, like, people work their entire lives to get less retirement benefits. No, people want retirement benefits when they retire. So, yes, we should expand the entitlement program, which guarantees more retirement money for people like me when I get older. And I think that's a fantastic thing Bernie Sanders is calling for. Hillary Clinton fans are scared again.
Crazy person, Bernie Sanders, wants to expand as opposed to subtract the entitlements that you've been paying into for the entirety of your mortal life.
Yeah.
Crazy person. The American people would never want more retirement benefits after working their entire life. How would you ever win with a message like that? She said that he's too extreme to win. I watched part of his speech. He says that women should have the right to choose. People deserve to have a living wage. It's the most common sense, the most middle-class centric and friendly message that you could possibly give. He says that we should, I guess the most extreme thing he says is that we should raise taxes on the wealthiest people in America. And I got news for you, that would be a popular message as well.
It's a message that doesn't resonate with the establishment that's been bought off by corporations.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
She is looking out for her donors. And Bernie Sanders would essentially make her donors irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't like that.
No, especially when she's talking about a socialist. A socialist. Say it a few more times. See if that clears out his crowds. Anyway, so this is some of the early criticism of Bernie Sanders. Hillary Clinton and her minions were very hands-off early on, but they can see the fundraising numbers and they can certainly see and hear the crowds. And so it's only going to get more vicious as the days and weeks go by.
Okay. Yeah. Just to add on to the point that he was making, you're really crazy for saying that women deserve equal pay, that women deserve the right to choose. Yeah, he sounds crazy by... You know what? There's nothing crazy about Bernie Sanders. So if you're a Hillary Clinton fan and you think Bernie Sanders is too extreme, I'm sorry, but I think you're wrong. I really do think you're wrong. Because Bernie Sanders has been attracting more crowds since his announcement to run for president. And people like him. He's still an unknown, technically, but when people find out who Bernie Sanders is, they'll like him more, and the support of Hillary Clinton will go down. And the other thing that Hillary Clinton and her supporters don't like about Bernie Sanders is that he wants there to be free college education. Yeah, like that's something to vote against, free college education. A livable wage, yeah, he sounds crazy for advocating a living wage. $7.25 an hour is a starvation minimum wage. That's exactly a quote from Bernie Sanders, and it's true. That is a starvation minimum wage. That's a jack shit living wage. And Hillary Clinton fans are just worried again. Feel that burn.